Hi there, this is Sarah Corse, Senior City Planner with Denver's Community Planning and Development. This is a virtual presentation that supplements the first community open house held on October 29, 2020 for the Stadium District Master Plan implementation. This presentation includes an update on the zoning and design standards and guidelines that could apply to the area. Before we begin, we want to thank you for your continued involvement and for taking the time to review this presentation. The City and County of Denver is continuously evaluating the best options to deliver information to our community, so thank you for your patience and being involved with this process. This presentation will cover a project overview, tools and strategies to implement the master plan, other steps to achieving the master plan vision, and next steps for the project. Project overview. Let's take a look at the big picture, from creating a plan to seeing physical development. Step 1 involved creating the Stadium District Master Plan, which was adopted by City Council in June 2019. We are currently at Step 2, where we are establishing new or updated rules and regulations to apply to the master plan area. Following this phase, the property owner can apply for rezoning. Step 3 is also when development agreements would be finalized, which would include commitments for affordable housing and other neighborhood benefits. Finally, Step 4 is where the property owner can submit plans for construction to result in development that the community can enjoy for years to come. The project purpose is to implement the recommendations of the Stadium District Master Plan. The project includes identifying and applying more current zoning and design approaches and procedures. Essentially, this project will identify new rules or regulations that will apply to future development when it happens. These new or updated rules and regulations will generally apply to the Stadium District Master Plan boundary, which is outlined in the black dashed line. Similar to the planning process, this effort involves an evaluation phase, a drafting phase, and an adoption phase. We are currently in the evaluation phase and are looking for feedback from you on potential zoning and design approaches. The city is responsible for leading this particular project, whereas other development processes led by the developer are also linked to the adoption timing. As a reminder, the Stadium District Master Plan was adopted in June 2019, and this plan sets the long-range vision and guiding principles for the area south of the Broncos football stadium. It was a collaborative effort led by the city with input from the Stadium Investment Corporation, the steering committee, and the community. The master plan is considered a policy document, meaning it sets the framework under which future implementation decisions are made. The plan identified recommendations and strategies in 4 major categories: land use and built form, mobility, quality of life infrastructure, and community benefits. The focus of the Zoning and Design Guidelines project is on the land use and built form recommendations. As a reminder, the plan called for allowing a diverse mix of uses, encouraging development that supports Sun Valley and provides opportunities, integrating affordable housing, promoting a variety of building heights and intensities, including taller buildings up to 20 to 30 stories that are slender and provide affordable housing, and promoting a pedestrian-oriented and active street level. Let's move on to the tools and strategies. To implement the master plan, first we evaluate the plan's recommendations and strategies. Then we analyze and identify tools that can achieve the plan's vision. Next, we study and receive feedback on how successful tools are. And finally, we adopt tools so they are ready to apply to future development. This presentation focuses on the tools that are potentially best suited to achieve the plan vision and receiving your feedback on if you agree or disagree. What are the tools that have been identified? The approach is to apply enhanced zoning and design tools that are stronger than those found in most parts of the city. These enhanced tools will be applied in 2 different ways: by updating the Denver zoning code so appropriate zone districts and rules can be applied to the site, and applying a rigorous design review process to ensure better design outcomes can be achieved than through zoning alone. Zoning can achieve the planned goal of encouraging a diverse mix of uses within a variety of building heights and intensities. Specific zoning strategies would be to encourage a combination of mixed-use zone districts with different height maximums and to create a new zone district that allows taller, more slender buildings. The diagram on the right shows an example of what may be appropriate maximum building height ranges that are consistent with the master plan, including the community's desire for buildings to step down towards the river and Old West Colfax Avenue, where the lower 5 to 12 stories is shown. When we consider the different height ranges, these images provide just one example of what potential buildings could look like in the lower, medium, and higher ranges. Zoning can also achieve the plan's recommendation for slender buildings that allow more sunlight, air, and views. Specific zoning strategies would be to utilize a point tower building form. This form has strict limitations for the building size above 5 stories and requires a minimum separation distance between towers. Let's take a closer look at what this means. In general, current zone districts allow a boxy building, like the image on the left and the diagrammatic example on the right. However, if enhanced zoning that utilizes the point tower building form were applied here, it could result in a building more similar to the image on the left and diagrammatic example on the right. Zoning can also achieve the planned goal of shaping boxy buildings and encouraging a variety of outcomes. Specific zoning strategies include requiring a standard called mass reduction for buildings that are taller than 5 stories. Generally, the taller the building gets, the greater the area that must be reduced. You can see the area in red outlines where this tool has been applied and where the upper floors would have been if there was no requirement. Let's take another look at what this means. Again, in general, current zone districts allow a more boxy building, like the image on the left and the diagrammatic example on the right. However, if enhanced zoning that requires mass reduction were applied here, it could produce a building more similar to the image on the left and diagrammatic example on the right. Zoning can also support activating the street and contributing to a pedestrian-oriented experience. This can be achieved through several strategies. The first is by increasing the amount of transparency required at the street level. Transparency is a measurement of the amount of transparent windows or doors on the ground floor. Zoning can also support an active street by requiring setbacks and allowing an opportunity for more space between the building and sidewalk. Setbacks and build-to standards determine where the building can be located relative to the street and sidewalk. Another strategy is to allow small, publicly accessible open spaces as an alternative to buildings being directly adjacent to the sidewalk. Another main strategy to achieve the goal of active streets is to require non-residential active uses along a portion of the building at the street level. This would encourage uses such as retail, restaurants, and office space at the street level. Finally, in addition to enhanced zoning tools, design standards and guidelines are proposed for this area and will be applied through a robust design review process. DSGs incorporate more qualitative design expectations that zoning alone cannot achieve. Some of the additional items DSGs may address are enhancing the street-level experience, creating richness in architectural massing, detailing, and materials, and activating the street's adjacent uses with complementary design elements. In summary, here's a diagram of how this combination of tools would guide future development. Mixed-use zone districts will establish the minimum requirements for development. Then enhanced zoning tools will add to or modify the base zoning in important aspects related to building shaping and active uses. And finally, the design standards and guidelines add the last layer of more qualitative design and land use expectations for future projects. We realize there are other items and steps that need to occur to achieve the vision of the plan. As you may be aware, the Stadium District is interested in moving forward with potential development. A community information meeting was held last November 2019 where the Stadium District shared their conceptual development proposal. This past August 2020, the Stadium District gave an update on their conceptual plan. Affordable housing remains an important component of the master plan and any future development in this area. A development agreement between the city and property owners will be the mechanism used to achieve the affordable housing goals. The master plan also identified specific goals and recommendations for streets, bicycle and pedestrian connections, and open space. These goals will be achieved in a few ways. First, there is a minimum requirement of 10% public open space across the entire area. The final network, scale, and character of open space and amenities will be developed through the Infrastructure Master Plan, which establishes the overall network of roads, utilities, and open space. The Infrastructure Master Plan must be approved before any individual development projects can move forward. There may also be additional requirements included in the development agreement. There are also community benefits that still remain important. These may be achieved through a community benefits agreement, which is led by the community and is an agreement between the community and property owner or developer. Additionally, the Old City Hall view plane covers most of the project area. A view plane is an ordinance to preserve views, usually from various parks and public spaces, by limiting building height. The Old City Hall view plane, enacted in 1988, has its point of origin near 14th Street and Larimer Street and stretches to the southwest, including the project area and ending at Federal Boulevard. This view plane was modified in 1999 to include an exception for the football stadium. The view plane also covers a portion of the Auraria campus, which is a state entity and is not required to comply with city building height restrictions. Over time, many campus buildings now block the mountain view from its origin point at the Old City Hall bell. In addition, Auraria campus has several proposed buildings, which are outlined on the image, that will block the view even further. Several citywide plans have policies supporting taller buildings near transit, including the areas around Decatur Federal Station, Auraria West Campus Station, and Empower Field at Mile High Station. There are also 3 small area plans with recommendations for heights taller than the view plane height restriction. 2 of these plans directly recommend re-evaluating the effectiveness of the Old City Hall view plane in light of a desire to support other city or neighborhood goals, such as affordable housing. Lastly, what are the next steps? Thank you for making it through the presentation. It is very important that we get your feedback on the information presented here. Please go to the project website at www.denvergov.org/Stadium District and take the online survey. You can also stay tuned for updated project information as it becomes available. We also want to make sure you are aware of and encourage you to participate in the West Area Plan effort that is ongoing. This plan covers the West Colfax, Villa Park, Barnum West, Barnum, Valverde, and Sun Valley neighborhoods. To learn more about the project, please visit www.denvergov.org/westplan. Finally, there is also a Colfax and Federal Interchange Transformation Project being led by the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure. The project purpose is to reevaluate the current configuration of the interchange and develop a design that maximizes network opportunities and future land use efficiencies. To learn more about this project, please visit this website. That's all for now, and don't forget to head to the website to take the survey. We thank you for listening to this presentation.